Hey, Anna. All right, just making sure that everything's working. Happy December 8th. Should be happy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, you guys, I want to give a thank you to all those who have been submitting pictures for us so that we can share those here on our live. If you aren't already aware of those that are coming in, you can send them over to us. Hey, Amy. You can send them over to us on our Facebook page, which seems to be the easiest. Just send them over at facebook.com/DTL Inc. Send them our direction. That'll work. We've got Christmas gifts that are already on their way. If you didn't already see them, they should be headed out to our Decker drivers. Hey, Eddie, good day to you. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to talk about winter driving, winter tips, I guess, a few suggestions. Got to be prepared. If you aren't already, please get yourself that way. We'll have a couple people here to help us along the way, just making sure that we are prepared and what it takes to get that way. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Of course, if you have any questions, interrupt at any moment by just putting in the chat your zip code or your city and state, and between Anna and I, we will be able to answer your questions on what's available and how home time and available positions and pay and all that good stuff. So feel free to ask away. That's what we're here for. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking about winter driving tips. Winter driving, I mean, it's a given. You're going to come up on snowstorms if you're headed out west, especially northwest. You're going to have high winds if you're going along I-80, especially in the Wyoming area. No surprise there. So those are things that we want you to be prepared for. We want to make sure that the trucks are not only well equipped, but all in working order as well, so they're very well maintained. Our trucks have pretty much anything that you can think of on them, and yes, they are very well equipped. We have APUs and inverters, refrigerators, bunk heaters, CB units. We have navigation, Sirius radio. We have Epic View, which is a satellite TV, company paid TV programming, which is over 100+ channels, and that's including HBO and Cinemax and Showtime and Sunday Ticket. And then we have microwaves as well. So these trucks, they're really well equipped. We have mostly 579 Peterbilts. We have a few Volvos, the 730s, 760 Volvos. And then we have a couple of Cascadia Evolutions, so Freightliner and Cascadia Evolution. So we've got a few options for you that way. Here we go. All right, so who we got here? Amy says, when I get 5 minutes after this video, I'll send you, I'm going on with my shoulder. Yeah, send in my direction. Anna says, extreme adverse weather is in the forecast for the rest of the week, especially in the Midwest. Those are cuss words, Anna. Please use extra caution when driving in the poor conditions. Heavy snow in the western states and icy conditions in the Midwest, including southern Iowa and Chicago, is expected. Oh, Donald says, Anna, 10 months at my job, maybe after a year. Felix, hey, Felix is here. Hello, hello. Eddie says, #1 winter tip, speed kills. Always a factor. Too fast for conditions. Yes, totally agree with you there. Do you know that pretty much every tip that's out there has something to do? I'm adding phrases. Something to do with reducing your speed. And that's exactly right. Speed kills. If you're on a wet roadway, you're going to need to reduce your speed to about 1/3 of what you were on regular dry pavement. If you're on snowpacked, they suggest that they as in FMCSA or the DOT, suggest that you reduce your speed down half of what you were going originally. So yeah, speed definitely is a factor. Fatality-wise, about 40% of speed fatalities occur on curves. Speeding about 10% occur going up ramps. And again, these are all speed related, not necessarily weather, but speed related, just in different scenarios. Around curves is about 40 to 60%, 20 to 30%, 20 to 30% is going up on the ramps, and whatnot. So yeah, speed. You're right, Eddie. I'm with you all the way on that one. Anna says, slow down and give space enough between each vehicle. Don't tailgate. Absolutely. Eliminate the distractions. I agree with you there. Eliminating the distractions is going to help you react a lot better. Defensive driving is the key, right? Defense wins games. So defensive driving is very important. You never know what somebody else is going to do, and being prepared for that is key. And just like Patrice always says, you don't need to be putting your superior driving skills to the test on a regular basis. Be prepared. Have the skills, but don't necessarily test them on a regular basis. Given the extreme cold weather, Anna says, expected this week, please remember that the 3 Ps of safe winter driving: prepare for the trip, protect yourself, and prevent accidents and incidents on the road. Absolutely. So preparing. You should have an emergency kit. If you don't already, put together an emergency kit. And that should include things like warm clothes, extra fluids, so food for yourself, mostly non-perishable food items. But make sure you have an extra gallon of water with you, and at least. And then you have extra layers of clothing. Yes, we have APU units. APU units, though, they tend to break down. And if they do, you need to be able to get out there and do some troubleshooting if need be. You can do troubleshooting in the cab. You can do them outside as well. We've got some videos that'll help you walk through those steps. Same with the bunk heater. If you're having issues with the bunk heater, we've got some troubleshooting videos that'll help you there. But most definitely, reach out to Breakdown and they can help walk you through it as well. But I think between the videos and Breakdown, you've got a jump start really on, no pun intended, but a jump start on taking care of that issue so that it doesn't prolong, and you're not freezing out there. Angela is a good example. This last weekend, her bunk heater stopped working, and so she was having some issues, and it did end up coming back the next day. But chilly. It's chilly. We don't want to keep you guys, especially if you're headed up into the Northwest or the Midwest where it's a little bit colder, then we want to make sure that you're prepared. That's why we equip the trucks with what we do, and to make sure that they are, there's something, a comfort for you while you're away from home. So Michael, hi Michael, does Decker require chains on the tires in heavy snow? We require that you bring them, or that you have them. So we have them on all of our trucks that run into Denver or the Northwest. So our Western Division has all of them. And they're required between September 1st and May 31st. But whether or not you're going to chain your tires is really more up to you. You're the professional, you've been trained, and as long as you know how to chain, honestly, that's the important part, knowing how to chain. And if you're in a situation where you do need to put those on in order to get yourself out of trouble, you're well prepared for that. But the decision is up to you. I've got guys that have never chained and they've got 30 years on the road. I've also got guys that 8 months on the road and they've chained multiple times. So it really just depends on your comfort level, your skill level as well. And we're all at different skill levels. And so that's something that you have to take into effect. So yeah, you do definitely have to be carrying them, and we do provide them, but we don't require that you are chaining on a regular basis or anything. Good question. Thank you. Anna says, per Joseph, number 1 rule of winter driving, if you feel unsafe, pull over. Exactly. And you'll have the support that you need for that decision. So if there's several of you in the same location, especially if you have the same driver manager, they'll notice some people are more comfortable than others going on some of these routes. That's how it is. If the road is closed, report that back to your driver manager or your fleet manager. Let them know so that we can inform others who are headed that direction. We do have Matt McConaughey, who is in the Western Division. He's one of our fleet managers out of Missoula, and he does a great job of keeping everybody up to date on the weather and road closures, and just kind of heads up, just kind of like what Anna was doing there, just giving heads up. Plus our Facebook page, our group pages that we have, truck drivers, support for truck drivers, and our Decker Truck Line drivers page. those are great resources for communicating to others who might be headed your direction that, hey, this road is closed, find an alternative route. And so I've seen some great communication on there, and I really appreciate that, because those are areas that I might not have the information on, but somebody who's there does, and that information can be passed on to others that are headed that direction. So that is huge. Eddie says, good trip planning is huge and could avoid hazards. Absolutely. You know, you figure with any adverse weather conditions that are out there, that could throw you off an easy 45 minutes on each trip that you're taking. So plan ahead, give yourself enough leeway that if you had some issues and you needed to, your windshield froze up, or your brakes are frozen, if it's going to take a little bit longer to load you because they're shorthanded, or just because of weather, things that might cause you for weather, people are going slower on the road. You should be going slower on the road. If like I said, if it's snow packed, if it's icy, most definitely if it's black ice, if it's raining, you're going to need to allow yourself extra time. And yes, since September 29th of this year, the DOT does allow for hours of service, an additional 2 hours for unexpected adverse weather. But remember that it's unexpected. I think that's the key to this whole picture here, is if it's been forecasted, then that's not something that you should be relying on. This is something that you can fall back on if you didn't plan ahead, or if you did plan ahead and all of a sudden this weather came up. Things like that. So all things to consider, to be aware of. Trip planning can make it or break it for you. You're always more efficient when you trip plan. Speaking of trip planning, pre-trips, a necessity, but making sure that you're doing a thorough pre-trip. As long as you're doing that thorough pre-trip, you're going to be prepared in general, and that's exactly why you have it. You're going to be prepared in general if something comes about, whether it be weather or something breaks down. You can let the shop know, let breakdown know. Breakdown, by the way, is extension 8250. Yeah, 8250. If you need to get a hold of them, contact your fleet manager. Keep that communication going so that they are well aware of if the load is going to be late, or if you're going to try and drop it early so that you can take care of something else maybe on the truck. So keep that communication going. We do have a few tips here on our YouTube channel, so make sure that you subscribe, because these are coming out all of the time. We've got 2 that recently came out, videos. One was on rubbing alcohol, which you may be wondering what that's all about, but Tyson Vance took a few moments and showed us how rubbing alcohol can be just a necessity on your truck and really save you in a time, especially when you've got frost or things are freezing on the truck. It's this time of year, so keep those handy. Frozen, so for rubbing alcohol, a bottle of rubbing alcohol that you can spray on the keyholes, on door locks, to allow you to get in easier, to clean off your windshield a lot easier. You know what we do where I'm from? In Montana, we're very used to frozen windshields, but the downfall is because of where we're at, if you have your windshield wipers against the windshield, they're more likely to break or rip because they freeze to it. Well, with the rubbing alcohol, it will remove that ice almost instantly and safely. It's not going to harm the paint. It's not going to harm any finishes at all. But it'll take that ice off, and it won't ruin your windshield or your windshield wipers. It'll really keep the longevity of them. But always if you can have an extra pair, that's ideal, because if you're coming into slush, snow, rain, you want to make sure that you can actually see where you're going. Always a good idea, right? Always a plus. The rubbing alcohol is great for that. It's great for releasing frozen brakes. So for all your tires, it's just really handy. And that's what that video is for. Also, the most recent APU video that we put out is more with the APU and our bunk heaters. Goes into troubleshooting and just giving you a little bit more information on how to use it properly and how to, fix a problem if it's a minor problem that can be adjusted while you're out on the road, so that you're not in a situation where you don't have any heat. If you're getting up into the Northwest, my goodness, you need some heat. And you just keep us, again, let us know, let fleet managers know they're your first contact. Let the breakdowner shop know at extension 8250 so that we can make sure we're taking care of it. It says, a Decker driver told me that he gets between 2,700 and 3,000 miles a week. I think that's really good. Yes, it does depend on the individual for sure, but 2,700 to 3,000, especially in our over-the-road refrigerated division, is most definitely doable. Not everybody's doing that, but there's a good chunk of guys and gals who are running that hard on a regular basis. So as long as you're keeping that communication going, and I know I keep saying that, so it's probably annoying, but that it's key. It's key on both ends for our fleet managers to make sure that they are communicating with you and that you are communicating with them. The more you do, the better relationship you guys have together, and the more it's a well-oiled machine, the more efficient you run, right? Absolutely. Anna says, always remember your fleet, there you go. Always remember your fleet manager's goal, and they're there to help you and to be your advocate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you have any questions, if you need to reach out to us, you've got the chat here, the Q&A that we do every Tuesday at noon. We're on Facebook on Mondays at 4 p.m. Central as well. And then, of course, just message me. Message me on Facebook or here on YouTube, and I can get to you right away. You can also call us. You can call my extension, which is 2443, and I can help you out with anything as well. We work together as a team so we can take care of anything that might be about. If you have some frustrations or concerns or suggestions that you need to talk about, give me a call. 888-668-0698. That's our recruiting number right here. I'm one of the recruiters here, if you didn't already know that, and Anna is as well. And you can just reach out to us and just let us know so we can talk with you, visit with you about it. So more driving tips for winter weather. Eddie mentioned it. Speed is always a factor. A couple of statistics that I think are really important that I'd like to share with you are not always winter-related speed tips, but when it comes to adverse weather, you just need to basically stack on the severity of it that much more. So say if the weather is poor, and I mentioned this just a few moments ago, if you've got wet roads, you should be reducing your speed according to the FMCSA by a third of what you currently are doing. So if you're at 60, you should be around 45 for your speed. If you're on snowpack or icy roads, you should be going about half of that. So you should be slowing down to about 30. So, which I know is frustrating because you always want to get there to your destination. But you want to get to your destination and you want to get there safely. So safety first, as always. Where's my safety first logo? I've got it somewhere around here. Where did I put it? I don't know where I put it. Anyways, safety first, and you can't say that enough. I don't know where I put that. All right, William, hey, carry a snow shovel. Oh, great advice. Yeah, carry a snow shovel in case you need to dig yourself out. Some kitty litter or de-icer, always a good idea. Amy says, so what's all the Christmas gift? Can't tell you, Abe. You'll see it when it comes your direction. You might have to break into it before Steven gets home. So winter weather is here. Can you guys hear the wind coming out of my window? Amy, do you have a lot of wind? You're covered more by the mountains, but we get the gusts a lot over here. So I can see everything shaking on the outside, and I can hear it as well. Anna says, maintain your vehicle. Check your battery, tire tread, windshield wipers. Keep your windows clear, but put no freeze fluid in the washer reserve, and check your antifreeze. And have extras of all of that. Part of being prepared is having those extras just in case. Might be you that needs them. Might be somebody else that you run into. What I love to see are the pictures of everybody kind of coming up on on another Decker driver or something. So I'm going to use Lisa and Aaron as an example just because I happened to see their picture this weekend. You know, they're parked in the same location. They were running the same lanes at least the same area. And what if one of them needed the fluids and the other one had the extra? You know, it's always nice to be there for your friend. I love to see the camaraderie, and I love to see the friendships that have been growing throughout all of our Facebook group and looking out for each other. When there's been questions about splitting the 7 and 3 on the Geotab unit or on the Qualcomm, there's been somebody there to answer it. You guys have been fantastic, and that's how we help each other out. Amy says no wind, but it's going to be about 40 today. It's supposed to be 60 where I'm at, but it is ridiculously windy. Super bad. Amy says, and I'm normally open. It will FaceTiming Steven. Oh, okay. That's when you're opening it. That way he doesn't miss out on it too. You could rewrap it. Talk about Christmas gifts. Speaking of Christmas gifts, let's do this. This was last week's, not the 3 itself, but no one else sent this over to me. That was our decoration last year. So I love to see those. Love to see those. So this year, you should be getting your gifts any day now. Actually, it was already sent. Amy says, what? This is not Montana winters. I know, I agree. It was like 50s all weekend. It was awesome. But it's supposed to be super nasty the next couple of days. So you can see out the window. That's how it is. William says vinegar works good for keeping the snow from freezing on your wipers. Vinegar works awesome for everything. I keep apple cider vinegar on hand for the cleaning is fantastic. I didn't know about keeping the snow from freezing on your wipers. I didn't know that, so that's really good to know. Michael says, are all the trucks at Decker automatic? Pretty much, yes. We have a few exceptions, but those exceptions are for our drivers who have been here for usually for 15 plus years. If you've been here at least 15 years, then you can do some of the specs on your truck, and some of those are manuals, but for the most part, like 90+% are all automatics. Anna says, reminder, holiday drivers. Yeah, so for those of you who are staying out during Christmas, or if you stayed out during Thanksgiving, or if you're staying out for Christmas or New Year's, there you go. And you're under a load, you get an extra $100 for the day on top of the rest of your pay. So just a reminder for an extra thank you very much for everything that you're doing. There you go. Michael, some of the trucks, 579 Peterbilts, some 730, 760, 780 Volvos, a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. Yep. So all I-shift automatics, and the majority of them are APU equipped and come with smart drive. Yeah, they all have APUs, refrigerators, bunk heaters, CBs, which are a fantastic thing to have, especially with weather. Having those CB units on the truck. The APUs, those are 1800 watt APUs, some of them up to 2000. We've got microwaves in the truck, televisions, bunk heaters, of course. A couple different units for the bunk heaters, and that's the new video that we had that came out yesterday on our YouTube. If you didn't see that, it was troubleshooting the newer model bunk heater. So which I hear is awesome. Heats up something fierce. I like that. Amy says, my favorite is vinegar and orange peels. Also a small splash of Dawn. Please. Oh, I was thinking to drink. Orange. I'm like, I don't drink that. Works like a champ on showers. Didn't know that? I will use that. Orange peels, huh? Lemon is what I've been told. There you go. Yeah, if we do, now this, Anna, you just reminded me here, if you guys have any questions about the TransFlow Geotab unit, which we're going from the Geotab, or excuse me, through the Omnitrax system to the TransFlow Geotab unit in the trucks for our navigation and for our communication and everything. our ELDs to that. If you're having any questions on that, feel free to reach out to us so that we can make sure that we're getting those answered. If you're having any issues with them, awesome. If they're working great for you, awesome. Let us know. Just keep that all together. Just keep that information coming. We've got another TransFlow video coming out. This is more so on the TransFlow, the phone app, on the app on your phone. It is a Decker app. Let me see if I can open this up while I talk. Amy says, lemon works also, but it's the smell. Oh, yeah, I got you there. This isn't gonna work. New phone in it. Uses your eyes. Okay, what else? What else for the ELDs? Yep, those are all being transferred. We're at about a 30 truck per week pace to get everybody switched over to this new system. So that'll be awesome. Speaking of new system, we also are using the Luma for our quarterly training, our safety training, and we'll be using those for orientation as well. We're going to dive into that a little bit more probably next week on our Facebook and our YouTube live as well. So the Luma and our online training, that'll be available to you there. So you have access to that. More winter driving tips. Slow down before you get to a curve. You know, it's always in the middle of a curve that someone wants to slow down. But if you do that and you start braking, you could really skid, you cause your wheels to kind of lock up and skid over, especially if you find out that it's icy coming around that corner. So most definitely slow down. Here we go. Slow down before you hit that curve. 40% of speeds happen on curves. So the fatalities themselves, speed related, 40% of those happen on curves. So make sure that you brake prior to entering that curve. Reduce speed before you enter the exit or the on-ramp, the off-ramp, excuse me, if you reduce speed there. Now the speed that's posted on there, keep in mind that that is for four-wheel cars, trucks, you know, like just regular vehicles. You know, it's not factored in for a tractor trailer. So if it says 25, 30 miles per hour, they're assuming that you are a four-wheel vehicle, which means that you should be slowing down at least 5%, 10% more than whatever that speed for that off-ramp is stating. So reduce your speed, go on to that off-ramp. 20 to 30% of big trucks, semi-trucks, the accidents occur on, or the crashes occur on the ramps themselves. Not necessarily, we misjudge it. We misjudge the angles, we misjudge the distance. They're not all the same. And so we misjudge it and accidents happen. Like grandma has a picture of tea in her lap going to church, so be safe. That's a good visual. Drive slowly when you're loaded. If the trailer, drive slowly when you're empty as well, especially if the high winds, but when you have a loaded trailer, you have a higher, so it increases the, if you're speeding up faster or you're slowing down at a quicker rate, then the loads can shift and can cause imbalance there for you. So, yeah, you're 10 times more likely to tip over with a loaded trailer, and that's why, because the loads can shift on you. So you want to make sure you've got your load locks in place. For flatbedders, you want to make sure that you've got your loads properly secured and that you have the A-train or the suicide wrap on there to help keep you safe. Yep. Keep everything from moving forward. Slow down in work zones. Work zones can be a major factor. A lot of times you're seeing cars that are trying to get around trucks, semi-trucks in really quick because they don't want to be stuck behind a truck, and so they're trying to sneak in. Make sure you're veered over within plenty of time so they don't have that time to try and merge at the very last second as you're trying to merge. It's just going to give you a safer environment. It'll allow you to see further ahead into the work zone as well. So you're more prepared to slow down. Going in, you're slower as it is. You can slow down or stop faster at that point. Anna says, avoid fatigue. Get plenty of rest before your trip and find a safe place to stop if you feel stressed out or tired. Keep your eyes open for pedestrians walking on the road. Absolutely. When the weather is bad and the roads are with adverse conditions, your reaction time needs to be that much faster. Doesn't mean that you need to brake harder or brake faster, but that you need to be prepared further in advance. And so this time of year, at least I personally notice that I'm going to be tired more often because with the weather, you're not getting as much up here in Montana. You don't get as much vitamin D. So make sure you're taking your vitamins. You're taking good care of yourself, getting plenty of sleep, like Anna said, getting the nutrition that you need so that you're running on optimal all cylinders. William says, wearing sunglasses helps you see better when driving in whiteout conditions. Yeah, and they have those specific sunglasses as well that are out there that help significantly take away a lot of that glare. Yeah, sunglasses definitely make a difference for you. So be prepared, you guys. Be prepared, and you've got a lot of others that are out there willing to help you. In addition to driving and having the emergency kit, making sure that you're taking your time in the parking lots. If you're parking on the opposite side of the parking lot at the TA or Pilot or Flying J, which is great because you're getting your exercise, make sure you've got the proper foot gear, the footwear that you're using so you can get there safely and you're not slipping and falling. When you're getting in and out of your truck, this is a must all the time. 3-point contact, both hands and foot as you're walking down. 3 points of contact is very, very important, and having the right footwear. You can get those non-slip extensions for your boots that you can put on to, kind of like snowshoes for your boots. Grip, those are great. Amy says, what's the sleeping thing you think of that you speak of? You're not a mom, not at all. Make sure that you've got plenty of the anti-gel treatment. We use Penray and we use Satine, I think is how you pronounce it. And for a container of Penray, that usually covers about 250 gallons. Satine is 100 gallons, I believe, 100 for of fuel is what it will. It's an anti-gel treatment. So if you're coming from the southeast, you most definitely want it if you're headed into the Midwest or the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, because that's going to keep you from gelling. When the weather gets colder, diesel fuel gels, and that is going to help you. Odds are you're going to have to idle a little bit more when the colder it gets anyway, again, another preventive measure. But again, idling time we do want to keep down as much as possible, but it is important to make sure that your trucks are going to keep running. If you don't use the anti-gel and the truck gels up, if you're not aware of the temperatures out there and the truck gels up, that's an easy $1,500 bill for the shop or for breakdown, and that adds up. So please make sure that you're being diligent and putting the anti-gel treatment in there if need be, and also starting up your rig if you need to keep it pumping. So Anna says, professional drivers, you need to read the instructions on whatever product is purchased as to not undertreat or overtreat. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And I brought it up earlier too with the Wyoming area. Now it's not only Wyoming, but we all know that Wyoming is known for it. The high winds. Great Falls area, high winds. So be prepared. If you have a light load and they've got warning signs, good idea to park it or find another route that's less dangerous. If the roads are closed, you're going to need to park the truck to stay safe. We understand. You just have to communicate with your driver managers or your fleet managers and and keep us in the loop so that we can contact our customers, let them know of the situation. We can't say it enough. Safety first, you guys. Safety first, because your lives are not replaceable. Yes, we need to get the load there. Yes, we need to get it on time. And, yes, that's our jobs. But our job is also to make sure that you're getting home. So please be diligent, safe. You're a professional driver. Make the safe call. Make sure your priorities are straight. Okay. So high winds, be aware of those weather conditions that can cause issues, cause traction issues or lack thereof. If you're light, you're not going to have the traction that you would if you are on a heavy load. So vehicle control, recovery time, all of that. And again, that's why we factor in a little extra time on our loads. And you should also be doing so when you're pre-planning yourself, when you're planning out your routes. Get there sooner rather than later when it comes to not waiting till the last minute to leave the house, or not waiting to the last minute to leave wherever you picked up the load. What your clock allows, but there's always variations of how you can manage your time in order to maximize your miles and on-time delivery as well. So keep that in mind. Emergency kit should include, bouncing around here, emergency kit should include your an extra blanket, a thermal blanket, jumper cables, flashlight, first aid kits, snow shovel like William says, bags, yep. Kitty litter or something to kind of get the traction under your tires. One great suggestion that I was given last year, I think Bob gave it actually, I can't remember for sure, but last year one of the suggestions we had was when you park, after driving, you're parking for the night, stop, get yourself situated, find a good spot, and then after about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, then move 2 feet forward or backward, wherever, depending on where you're at, so that your tires don't get suctioned or sucked into really a rut, because your wheels, your tires are hot at that point because you've been running down the road. Then the snow is melting around them as you get parked, but then they're going to freeze overnight. And if you are parked in a spot where you've got snow kind of huddling over your tires, you could be making a trap for yourself. So let it cool down a little bit, move yourself 2 feet forward or 2 feet backward depending on where your room is at, and that way you can get out of those ruts a lot easier than when you go to leave either next morning or evening. So, all right, great suggestion, great help. Thank you guys for that. All right, anything else for the winter weather? Be safe. So I just got to remind you to be safe. Winter weather, Christmas is coming about. You know the extra pays that we've got. Also with Christmas coming about, I know a lot of you guys are wanting to get home. Reasonably so, we get it. If you haven't already spoke to your fleet manager, please do that. We need to know so that the customer service can know and our customers can know. As long as we know that you need to get home and about what day that you need to get home, we can work with our customers in order to route you there in a timely manner. Get you home for that home time that is well deserved and that you can enjoy. And then when you are ready to come out, let us know what type of, when you plan on coming out so that we can have those loads ready for you. We'll work with our customers to have those loads ready. Plus, it gives us a good outlook for what 2021 is going to look like, at least the first quarter for loads. So, got a great customer base, a very strong customer base. They work really well with us. We want to make sure that we're communicating the amount of loads that we can cover during the holiday season. Yes, a lot of them will be slow or will be closed even for the holidays. Dedicated the aluminum down out of Tifton, Georgia, they're closed for 2 weeks, but I know in other areas they're closed for a day or so or whatever it might be, even a week. So let's communicate this to our fleet managers so that we can communicate it to our customer service and our customers to make sure that we've got great communication, period. Monitor weather reports, Anna says. Absolutely good idea. Slip-resistant soles for your shoes, winter coat, extra clothing, food, water, blankets, gloves. Yes. Reflective gear, always a good idea. Making sure that you've got the reflective gear. And don't, when you're parking, if you've got snow drifts in front of you, you need to give yourself some room so that the truck can breathe. Air can pass through. That's another thing that you want to remember. Don't butt up next to a snow drift and then the truck isn't getting the air that it needs. All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the positions that we have available here at Decker. If you're looking to join the team, you can give us a call at 888-668-0698. We've got the recruiting department on hand to answer any questions. We've got great miles. William had mentioned, Matthew had mentioned the miles. He spoke to somebody about getting 27 to 3,000 miles a week. One of our drivers that he spoke to, absolutely, in our over-the-road refrigerated division out of Missoula, Montana. They run great miles. They're consistent. We do have guaranteed pays as well in all of our divisions. So it is $1,000 guaranteed minimum that you'd see on a weekly basis. There are requirements for that, so making sure you get your paperwork in on time. You've got scanners in the truck and your your TransFlow, your phone. You've got your scanner there as well. Being available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. No CSA points or violations for the week. No preventable accidents for the week. What am I missing? And no driver service failures. So making sure that your loads are there on time. If everything that's in your control that you follow through on. So those are the qualifications for that guaranteed pay. Also the qualifications for our quarterly bonus, our quarterly sign-on bonus. It is for the first year, pays $12.50 for each quarter, so $5,000 total for that. Plus you can get an additional 5 cents on all the miles. Flatbed, any miles that you run over 20,000 for the quarter, you're getting an extra 5 cents a mile on. Again, this is just for your first year. For flatbed is 20,000. For refrigerated is 25,000 for the quarter. And again, 5 cents a mile for all the miles that you ran over that. Now we also have the monthly bonus, which are actually two different bonuses that we have. The Smart Drive, which our Smart Drive system in our trucks does include inward and outward facing event recorders. It includes the lane departure, speed gauge, following distance. I don't know what that part's called, but and so all of that is included within our Smart Drive. If your Smart Drive score is 20 or less, then you'll get an extra penny per mile for all the miles that you ran that previous month. And then with the with the scorecard, with the scorecard bonus, you can get an extra 4 cents a mile as a company driver, 3 cents a mile as an owner-operator or lease purchase. And the factors there for the company driver are the fuel efficiency and idle time, or fuel compliance and idle, if you had any preventable accidents, your miles, your CSA violations, making sure you don't have any there, your on-time delivery, and claims. Those are the 7 factors that come in hand during the scorecard bonus, which again can be an extra 4 cents a mile on all the miles that you ran. So 5 cents total between the Smart Drive and the scorecard each and every month that are available to you. A perfect scorecard is 1,000 points, and if you've seen some of our past videos, you see the number of drivers who consistently get 1,000 points. So we love to see that. If you have any questions on our scorecard bonus or our Smart Drive bonus or any of the other bonuses, referral bonus, quarterly accelerator bonus, even the guaranteed pays, please reach out to one of the recruiters at 888-668-0698, or you can actually check out some of the videos on our YouTube channel as well, and they'll just break them down for you. I would suggest that you start at the most recent and work your way back, because some of them are outdated, but you'll see that the most recent details on that guaranteed paid, as well as the bonus structures. Plus, we have a podcast, if you aren't familiar with that. Last week, our podcast guest was Steve Alliger. Where's his picture? There it is. Steve Alliger joined us last week for our podcast, and he's recently been nominated for one of the 5 National Truck Driver Association of the Year awards. There's only 5 nominees, and the winner will be announced April 7th, I believe. It's either March or April, I can't remember. And he's one of the 5. So last week he was in the terminal doing his video interview questions for that, and so we snagged him in order to do the podcast. Just give a little bit of history with Steve and the company. Steve received our 2,500th Peterbilt that Decker bought last year. So that was pretty fun award, and he has received the Driver of the Year as well. So yeah, lots of awesome things. He's a good man to pick his brain and find out a little bit more how to improve your skills and what to focus on to see results. So one of several. We do have several drivers here at Decker who have they've got a good understanding of safety and of getting the miles and managing their time and making a very good living at driving trucks. So feel free to reach out to any of them. I know there are several that are willing to answer questions. The Facebook groups are a wonderful avenue to use. But yes, so Steve was a guest for our podcast last week. We are having a DOT officer come out and ask questions, or not ask questions, but answer questions for us on one of our upcoming podcasts. So if you have any questions that you would like us to share with with the DOT officer, and you want some of those questions answered, we just need you to either email us at podcast@deckermail.com or call me 888-668-0698, or even just Facebook message us, facebook.com/DTLinc, so that we can ask those questions. We'll have Darren ask those questions to the DOT officer, have those answered for you. So yes, he's been kind enough to come in and answer those questions, and if you have anything specific, I imagine that if you are asking, so will somebody else. So feel free to let us know. And the podcasts come out every Thursday. So if you want to join there, you can check out, you can actually link to them here on our YouTube channel. Also have a link on our drivedecker.com page as well. So you can join in there. Excellent. All right. Well, in addition to the over-the-road refrigerated that I brought up, we also have our over-the-road flatbed that's based out of Bessemer, Alabama. We do require 9 months of flatbed experience in order to qualify for that position. We have home weekly if you live in North Carolina on the west side of 95. Also, if you live north of 20 in both Alabama and Georgia, we have home weekly. And again, this is all flatbed that I'm naming off. Mississippi, great area for our flatbed. The Carolinas, like I mentioned, northern Florida around Jacksonville, Pensacola area, all of Alabama, all of Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, all great areas for our over-the-road flatbed. Denver, Colorado area is included in there. A lot of our Midwest, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. We also have Midwest flatbed. If you're looking to stay in the Midwest, if you live in the Midwest and you're looking to stay in the Midwest, options available to you. If you live in the Chicago area, I have a home daily option available to you. Home daily, in some areas it could be home like 4 days out of the week, but maybe out one day of the week. It just depends on where you're at. We do have short haul positions available out of the Omaha, Fort Dodge area, Omaha, Nebraska, Fort Dodge, Sioux City, Iowa. Those are home multiple times throughout the week, 3 or 4 times, and then on the weekends. That one guarantees $1,000 a week. The home daily out of Chicago is $1,700 a week. And then home weekly in the Midwest, anywhere from Fort Dodge to Mason City, Iowa, up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back down to Chicago, and then to Fort Dodge. Anywhere along that route, would get you home on a weekly basis, which means coming in on like a Friday night or Saturday morning and then leaving back out either Sunday night or Monday morning. So it's usually a minimum of a 34 at home for that position, and that's home weekly. That pays $14.50 a week, and again, it does require 9 months of flatbed tractor trailer experience. We also have $14.50 a week. We also pay $14.50 a week and home weekly if you live anywhere from Iowa City, Iowa to St. Louis, Missouri, over to Columbus, Ohio. So that's going to include the route along there, so to Evansville, Indiana, up north to Toledo, Ohio, and then back towards the Chicago and Iowa City area. Really anything in that vicinity is going to get you home on a weekly basis, and it does pay $14.50 a week. So, hey, Tim Molden here. There you go. Justin says, I applied yesterday coming over just because of the guaranteed Midwest Regional Refrigerated. So one of the Midwest Regional Refrigerated guarantees is $12.50 a week. That one is if you live anywhere from Omaha to Chicago on I-80 and Albert Lee, Minnesota or Minneapolis to Fort Dodge on I-90. Those areas are all good for us for our Midwest Refrigerated, and that's $12.50 a week. Again, coming home, talking to Zach. Zach's the driver manager for that position. Coming home on like a Friday night or Saturday morning, and then leaving back out either Sunday night or Monday morning for a 34 minimum at home. So Justin, that's awesome. Not sure when you're looking to get started, but we do orientations every Monday. We'll have the 14th, trying to think of all the days. We'll have one on the 28th as well. 14th, 21st, 28th. Yep. We're good this week. The Christmas doesn't get in the midst of orientation this week. Orientation does pay $1,000. The way that we break that up, so first off, orientation consists of your physical, your drug test, which is both the hair follicle and the urinalysis, your PCE, which is like range of motion and resistance test, your driving test, your company policies and procedures, going over all that information, which includes the TransFlow app, the GeoTab unit, or the Omnitrax, depending on which one you're getting, and then what else? Going over the rest of the company policies and procedures, getting the communication open between you and your fleet manager, so you'll visit with them and kind of get a good feel for what you're looking for and what they're needing, what type of communication you guys are going to, or how you guys prefer to communicate. That's another thing that's going to be important to go over. And then you're usually dispatched out Friday morning. Get in your truck on Thursday, meet your driver manager Thursday, and first dispatch is usually Friday morning. You'll get your first $500 of that $1,000 on a comm check, so you don't have to wait all week, because payday is every Friday, direct deposited. And the $1,000 for orientation would be direct deposit that following week. But again, we front 500 of it, and the other 500 is deposited. That way you have a little bit of money on hand before you're dispatched out. Justin says, I'm on I-90 near Wisconsin-Minnesota border. Perfect. But I want to be out for 2 months, back for 5 days. Definitely doable with our guaranteed pay and the minimum pay, which is pretty much the same type of thing. It does require that you're available at least 5 days out of the week, for those of you who this information is new to, at least 5 days out of the week in order to qualify. But we do figure for every 7 days out, you've got a day and a half home time. So 2 months and 5 days is definitely doable. You have more than earned your home time at that point. Absolutely. Anna says, orientation usually starts every Monday, and it's a fun-filled week with no out-of-pocket. That's right. We usually do a rental car or a flight, depending on where you're coming from, to cover that. Now, we have a repayment agreement that you'll see in orientation. It just really says, hey, this is what Decker has invested in you, and it'll talk about the rental car or whatever those costs were. So everybody's is going to be a little bit different depending on where you're coming from. And we just have you recognize it. If you were to leave within the first 6 months, you could be responsible for a portion of it. But each month you're here, we knock $100 off at 6 months. It doesn't even matter what it was. wipe that clean. But that's just one way to make sure that we're covering everything. You're well aware of everything that you'll be seeing in orientation. Also, for orientation, make sure you bring a direct deposit form or debit form or whatever, or a voided check, and that way we can make sure that you're not going to have a delay in getting your first settlement either. So, easy peasy, taking care of that for you. And then you'll get into your truck. And like I said, the trucks are fully equipped. They've got pretty much everything in them. Here at the terminal, we do have facilities available to you, a washer and dryer as well. So if you need to access any of that, they'll be available. Jay asks, what's the qualifications to become a lease purchase driver with you guys? Great question. We do require, if it's $1,500 down for the lease purchase. If you don't have that, then you need to run as a company driver for at least 90 days first. And at that point, we want to make sure that you qualify for that lease purchase. Qualifying is going to mean that your scorecard, which I don't know if you were here for that part, Jay, but the scorecard is one of our monthly bonus, it's one of our monthly bonuses, but it is really a scorecard of your performance. So on-time delivery, claims, driver service failures, which is on-time delivery, preventable accidents, CSA violations, miles, fuel efficiency, idle time. Those are factors in your scorecard. If you have at least 850 and above on a regular basis, then you're going to qualify for the lease purchase. If you're consistently getting 650, 700, something like that, then you're not meeting the qualifications of the lease purchase. And in all honesty, you're really not going to be successful in a lease purchase if you can't get over 850 on a regular basis for the scorecard. We've seen that over and over where the success is a correlation of that scorecard. A big one is your fuel efficiency time. And even though those two factors aren't qualifications for the scorecard on the owner-operator lease purchase side, if you don't do well with those on the company side, it can make it or break it for you on the lease purchase. And if you go to lease purchase, we want to see success. So we don't want to throw you in on something that we're not confident in your success on. So anyways, lease purchase, it's $1,500 down before you can do the lease purchase, whether you're doing it after the 90 days of a company driver or if you're doing it immediately coming in. You do need to have a minimum of 9 months of experience, just like you do with any of our other positions that we have out here. And what else for qualifications? The pay for the lease purchase is going to be different depending on where you live and what division you're looking for. My flatbed is at 72% of the load. The refrigerated is $1 plus the fuel surcharge. Flatbed is 72% plus the fuel surcharge, and the refrigerated is $1 plus the fuel surcharge. Except in a small area within the Midwest, we offer the 72% for the refrigerated as well. Mm-hmm. Justin says, can you go over the fitness requirements? I have a year of experience with no issues. Fitness requirements, like the physical? Is that what you're referring to? The range of motion and resistance? That is, so the PCE, which is a physical capacity evaluation, is I'm guessing is what you're referring to as the fitness. And really it's just showing that you've got the range of motion. I know with myself, the range of my shoulder range of motion isn't great. So if I'm trying to move a fifth wheel or something like that, that could cause problems. But there isn't necessarily a requirement. I mean, I'm just trying to think. There's not necessarily a number per se. Although the PCE does have number factors on them, I don't know exactly what those are. It's just making sure that you're capable of doing the job. For flatbed, you've got a lot of weight with the tarps and stuff. That can add up. So we want to make sure that you're going to be able to throw the tarps and secure properly. But yeah, there's not necessarily a fitness. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you, because it's not like, oh, you have to weigh this much and you have to be able to lift this much. It's not, there isn't an amount there that's stated. Hope that answers your question, Justin. Sorry about that. He says, yeah, the PC never had a company do that. Yeah, it's just like range of motion resistance. If you've imagine that there will be any issues with it, but it's just making sure you've got the mobility to get, if you have to get under a trailer, you need to be able to squat down. Now, again, I mentioned my shoulder, that I have shoulder problems, but I can still, I still can do that. I still have enough range of motion and resistance to do something like that. But those are things that you're aware of. If you had shoulder surgery, you want to make sure that you've got the right releases, and I keep using that because that's my pain point. But if you have to get under, if you've got to throw chains, because maybe it's an instance that you have to, you need to be physically able to do that. You need to be able to squat down, get underneath the truck or the trailer if need be, and throw those tires, things for the tires, things like that. Tim says, Jess, I had a question asked me if breakdown was done away with, seeing that you have the guaranteed pay. It's not. It may not be relevant at times because of the guaranteed pay, but it's a great question. So our breakdown is $100 after 24 hours, $150 after 48 hours, and $200 after 72 and thereon. So for each 24-hour period. So no, you'll get the breakdown pay if your miles, and so between the combination of your miles and your pay per mile and the breakdown pay or whatever other extra pays that would be relevant to your week, if they add $1,000, you're going to get the better of the two. Now, if because you were broke down for some reason and you just didn't get the miles, you really didn't get the miles in addition, and that $1,000 isn't going to be the better of the two, that's when you'll get the $1,000. But it's still there. It's still available to you. It just may not be relevant depending on where your miles were for that week. Good question. Jay says, what's the compensation package for OTR refrigerated on the lease purchase again? It's $1 a mile plus the fuel surcharge. So whatever that fuel surcharge is for the week. Now on refrigerated loads, it's 90% of the fuel surcharge, because 10% will go towards the reefer fuel, which we pay for. It's 100% on any dry loads that you have. Most of the loads you would have in the refrigerated division are refrigerated. But, yep, and then, like I said, plus the fuel surcharge on all that. Anna says breakdown pay must be approved by breakdown supervisor with the following criteria. Being in the shop for 24 hours, routine service. Yeah, I mean, and so all of that's there. If you have any question on whether or not breakdown would apply, all you have to do is talk to your fleet manager. And he or she may say it, you're not going to be getting it because you've got that $1,000 to back up to cover you. But if the combination of the breakdown pay and your miles is more, then you'll get the more. There you go. Justin says, how about policy on throwing chains or tires? Yes or no? It is required that you have chains. So all of our trucks are going to have chains on them, especially if you're running the Northwest Division, or if you're running the Midwest, possibly. Then yeah, you're going to have chains on the truck, but whether or not you throw them is really more on your level. So if you feel comfortable, if you're using them to get out of trouble and not putting yourself into trouble, then yes, you can throw chains. You need to know how to do it, period. But whether or not you're going to be throwing them is a professional call, and you're making that call. Okay, yeah, so chain laws from September 1st to the 30th of May, and so you've got to have chains during that time. Whether you're chaining is really going to be on a personal choice. Safety first. There's only one you. That's right, and I agree with her. Absolutely. Any other questions? Coming through. All great questions, you guys. I appreciate the activity there. Okay. Awesome. Well, don't forget to subscribe because we will have another TransFlow app coming out, video coming out tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming out tomorrow. And then we'll have Weigh My Truck app coming out probably sometime next week. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Click that little bell. Every time we go live, you'll get notified. You can hop on and join us, as well as ask any questions that you have. Justin says, wanted to say you're doing a fantastic job. Rapid fire questions. I know, and I get to go in a little bit fast, so you stuck with me. All right, you should get bonus points. I know. Anna's as bad as I am. The two of us are speed talkers. Awesome. Yep, keep them coming. So we'll be here again on our YouTube channel on noon Tuesday for noon Central Tuesdays if you have any more questions. And of course on our Facebook page, facebook.com/DTLink at 4 p.m. Central on Mondays. So cool. Anna wanted to slip in there real quick, say the 3 Ps. Don't forget to do those. Prepare for your trip, protect yourself, and prevent accidents and incidents on the road. You guys, please be safe out on the road, not only today and tomorrow and out through the holiday weekend. Watch out for anybody that may be on the road, and always careful during the New Year's. Looking forward to what 2021 will bring us, right? 2021. Amy says, and yes, we have wind now. I know, Amy, I'm looking out my window and I'm seeing things flying by that I'm not sure should be flying by, so I'm a little nervous to see what it is. Justin says, are the trucks and trailers equipped with the right weight systems? Yes. If I'm answering your question correctly, I should probably double check. Weight station, you mean like the being able to adjust for like cat scales or whatever if you need to make adjustments for the trailer weight? Is that what you're asking me? Amy says left the house to get the mail and the wind is bad. Yeah, it's bad. I'm seeing things flying by and I keep looking to make sure that's not my stuff, is it? Justin, I'm pretty sure I'm talking to the same thing you are. I'm hoping I am at least. But yeah, our trucks are weighed properly. If you need to make the adjustments, you'll be able to move them around. And all of our equipment, now our trucks on average are about 18 months, maybe pushing the 20 months right now, just because COVID hit and it threw off our new trucks when our trucks came in this year. But no, we got new ones on there. We keep them for about 3 years altogether, maybe a little bit, just a hair over. And then our trailers are about 5 years on the rotations then. No, like a load gauge on the driver tandems. So you don't need to pay for a scale. We have the Weigh My Truck. So the cat scales, like every time you need to go to a cat scale, that stuff, that's there. I don't know the answer to that, Justin. Tim, can you help me out on that? No load gauge on the drive-in tandems. As far as I know, we've got it because so when you go to the scales, I just don't know enough about what you're talking about, I think. So I'm going to have to find out for you. Yeah, because when you go to the scales, I mean, you shouldn't have to pay. It should all be right there. We have the Pre-Pass, Easy Pass, K-Pass, and all of the for the scales to bypass you. I'm gonna have to find out for you. Sorry, not 100% sure I'm answering what you're asking. Okay, so Justin, I'm gonna find that out for you. And give me a call if you can, or your recruiter a call, and we'll have an answer for you on that hopefully later this afternoon. Once I talk to the right person. Cool. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Please, like I said, please stay safe. I'm going to run out and make sure that nothing flying by is mine. And stay safe. You know, be aware of the high winds that are out there and the winter weather that is coming. So, all right. Thanks so much, you guys, for your time. We'll see you next week here on our YouTube channel.